That there is an erupting volcano. So there's a lot of geologic activity under the surface of this country, and the people of Iceland have found a way to harness that energy. So this lava field has come through, and I think maybe jump-started the growth of these berries.
Yeah, it's a bit surrealistic to come in here during the winter time when you're having maybe a couple of meters of snow. These guys here, I'm not sure if they'll continue to ripe, but maybe we can just give these to you.
Oh, thank you so much. Seeing this collection of tropical plants felt like I was watching a magic trick. I was impressed, but now I wanted to see what the secret was behind it. Due to its location on the mid-Atlantic ridge, there is a lot of activity underneath Iceland. Throughout the country, there is a network of groundwater that gets heated up to boiling temperatures. This happens so much that you will often see fumaroles throughout the landscape. This is steam escaping from the earth. You may also happen across one of these. Jump scare. We're just like sitting here like looking at this thing like peacefully bubbling, and then all of a sudden it like shoots up. That just like came out of nowhere. I was told that this used to be more active, but because the volcano has erupted, that has taken some of the pressure out of that vein of magma. It's so weird to think that they're connected, because we're very, very far from that volcano. It's like an hour drive away. Doesn't matter. Like, that volcano has got such like an immense kind of activity to it. The word geyser comes from Iceland's Great Geyser, the first geyser that has ever been documented in writing. Remember how I said that Iceland has found a way to harness this geothermal energy? In fact, if you live in Iceland and you find out that you have geothermal activity on your property, it's like finding out that you have crude oil. That energy is a valuable resource that can be used in a number of different ways. And one of the earliest uses for geothermal energy was cooking. Since there is a shortage of trees in Iceland, historically using wood in order to make fire was not reliable. Long ago, Icelanders instead looked towards the endless supply of heat that was coursing underneath their feet. The earth became their oven. That'd be a great title for a book. I've been told that if you're walking through an area that has a lot of geologic activity underground, then if you look for an area without plants, that's probably in a spot that's like really hot, like a warm spot. And over here, you can see there's like, this is a very active area. And you can see some of the plants are not surviving in these little zones. And when I touch the ground here, it is warm. It's a very cold day. You can see I'm wearing like a jacket, and although, you know, the sun is shining, the ground is actually warm. And I think that's, you're feeling the inside of the earth. Like, there's only so many feet between me and magma. Over here it's in the shade. Let me see if this is warm too. Yeah. It's a little warmer in the sun, but the ground is not cold. That's pretty cool. Cooking with the earth is a practice that isn't needed now that there are electric stoves. However, there are a few areas that utilize the heat of the earth in order to cook traditional foods. In the area that I am right now, there's a lot of activity underground, and because of that, people can use that to cook. Restaurants and hotels, they will bake bread underground. There are a few places that used to do it, and they're all closed. This place looks like they had banana bread and carrot cake and stuff like that that was cooked using geothermal energy. Luckily, I did find one place that was open, and it did have some food that was cooked by the earth. This is amazing. There's so much activity here. It must be like right above like a big vein of magma, because I mean, look at that. Yeah, if I were to put my hand in that, that would cook my hand. And one cool thing with this place is they will cook bread and potatoes. And this looks like it might be somewhere where people are cooking some potatoes. It smells like an egg. I know I keep saying it, but you know, every time you see this sort of activity, like the inside of the earth has a smell, guys, and I am smelling it right now. And it smells like sulfur. And if the potato cooker wasn't hot enough for you, get a load of this bread cooker. This here is a piece of hot spring bread, also known as volcano bread. In Iceland, it's often just referred to as rye bread. What people do is they will take a pot or even like a coffee can, they will fill it with a dough made out of rye flour, golden syrup, salt, a few other ingredients, and they put that in the pot, they bury it underground, and then the earth will cook the bread. The man who sold this to me, he said that this took 16 hours for it to bake fully. Depending on how hot the ground is, it might take longer than that. There's a hotel in Iceland that will do it as well, and for them it takes 24 hours. You're dealing with the earth, so it depends on what you got. The bread is very, very dense, and I think that's not so much a matter of it being cooked by the earth, that's the type of bread this is. This is like a nice, dense rye bread. This also has the nickname Thunder Bread, and that is not for any sort of geologic reason. That is because this thing has so much rye in it that it can have a laxative effect. So you can't eat too much of it. I decided to wait until I got to a hotel because I had a 5.5 hour drive from where I got this bread, and I didn't want to be in the car with any kind of thunder inside me. And I'm going to be eating this with some Icelandic butter. The guy who sold it to me said that you should put butter on it. It's not good without butter. So let's give that a try. That is actually really nice. It's not like eating regular bread. It's like somewhere between a very dense rye bread and a piece of molasses date cake. It has a nice texture to it. It's like really dense and very chewy. And yeah, that butter on there is really nice too. But I'm gonna try a little piece just on its own. Yeah, I would eat this on its own too, but yeah, it is nice with the butter. I could definitely see the issue of eating too much of this and then having to deal with the thunder that comes from thunder bread. Because I have another slice over there. I'm tempted to eat it, but I know I shouldn't. So I'm just gonna stick with this one piece here. But it is really, really good. If I had a whole loaf of this, I would have to really work hard to control myself from eating it. Flavor aside, the coolest thing is that this is cooked by the earth.
I'd be terrified to cook with this thing.
While we're on the subject of cooking, let's take a minute to talk about food. And no, I don't mean lamb. Although bananas aren't grown commercially in Iceland, a lot of fruits and vegetables are. There may only be 1.2% of arable land throughout the country, but thanks to greenhouses, ones that are powered by geothermal energy, that doesn't matter. If you go to a supermarket here in Iceland, what sort of products do you find that are grown locally?
Well, usually you have like the tomatoes, the sweet peppers, the cucumbers. Even the cucumbers are being exported to Denmark and being sold in Danish supermarkets. Well, those are the greenhouse vegetables we're seeing. But then we're having the outside farmers with the agriculture. They are growing beets, potatoes, carrots, cauliflowers, for example, broccoli. The pre-growing of the vegetables which are grown outside is done usually in cold greenhouses. And after some time, they have been pre-grown. They're ready to go outside. Then they need to be sure that we have a season which is going to be frost-free. You don't want to put your plants out and suddenly you have a couple of hours of frost. It can damage everything in the beginning.
Right.
So, but no, then the outside vegetables are produced in fields.
One of the things that I was most curious about was how farmers cope during the dark season. I visited during the light season, and the whole time I was there, the sun never set. Late at night, it would get kind of dim out, but never completely dark. That seems like it could be pretty good for plants, but then there's the cold, dark season when there could be some days with no light at all. What do?
We're inside the experimental greenhouse of the Agricultural University of Iceland. We have our own experiments. We're also in collaboration with Icelandic farmers. So after each experiment, which we do during the darkest season in Iceland, we create a report and they can access the information they need to benefit to their own growing. And we've been trying for the last few years different types of LED lights. For example, salads, trying different types of spectrum of LED lights for creating different colors in salad. So we have a small weather station on top of the roof which collects data on how much sun is shining into the house, basically. As soon as we have enough energy collected, the lights won't go on.
Day like today, you have no use for the lights,
Yeah.
but during the dark season, this is on 14 hours.
At least.
Fascinating.
Alright, so that's it for the second installment in this 6-part series about the Icelandic banana, among other things. If there is another episode out already, there should be a link on the screen. If you don't see a link on the screen, that means I forgot to put it there or it's not out yet. If you're not subscribed and you want to be notified when that episode is out, subscribe, click the bell, do all that stuff. You know what to do. And the next one is going to be focusing on hot springs, but some really weird hot springs that are in Iceland, and also commercially grown crops, like crops that are grown in Iceland and sold at supermarkets. Before I go, I want to give a thank you to my Patreon supporters. If you're not on Patreon, now's a good time to take a look at it, because Patreon is going to be full of all sorts of exclusive content about this series. So I've got a commentary for this episode and some behind the scenes stuff, a lot of outtakes, and it's going to be all sorts of cool stuff. So check that out. There's more information in the description below. And also a big thank you to the Agricultural University, which was a huge help in making this episode. There'll be a link to more information about them below, as well as other sources that I used to make this episode. Thanks so much, everybody. I'll see you in the next one.